All right, to start drawing our house, we have our corner of our piece of paper. We're using that large sheet of paper. And to start off, you're gonna measure from the edge of the paper down 1 inch. And put a little dashed line. Come over a little bit more, come down another, same 1 inch, put a dashed line. I like to put my pencil on the dashed line and I set the ruler on it and I can pivot at that point and mark it to the other dashed line, and I draw a fairly light line. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the up and down axis. Come over 1 inch, put a dash, come over 1 inch. Oh, am I confusing people? I'm using the 2 inch part of the ruler. Doesn't matter where on the ruler you use because 1 inch is 1 inch, but I just kind of put it right there. Put my pencil on the mark, set the ruler there, pivot until I get to the other mark, and I put a line there. So those two lines, I hope you can see that in the video, that's the corner of the house we're gonna draw. Now the house we're gonna draw is 38 feet long by 36 feet long. So I gotta measure 38 feet over there. And we're using 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. So if it's 38 feet, how many 1/4 inches go into that? We can say 38 over 1/4. So 4 goes into 38. 4 goes into 38 9 times. That's 36 with 2 left over. So 9 2/4. That reduces down to 9 1/2. So we can take our ruler, set it here, come over 9 1/2 inches. You can't see that, can you? There we go. 9 1/2 inches. And then we drag down the ruler, mark 9 1/2 inches. Hold our ruler in those two spots and put a line down 9 1/2. All right, our house goes 36 feet up and down. So we gotta come down 36 feet. If you didn't like all that dividing, there's another way of doing it. Because if 1/4 inch equals a foot, if 1/4 inch equals a foot, in 1 inch, how many feet would we have? Here's 1/4, here's 1/4, here's 1/4, here's 1/4. So that's 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. So 1 inch would have 4 feet. So you can skip the math if you want. And we can put a ruler on the edge here and just add as you go. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 feet, 24, 28, 32, 36 feet. It's 9 inches, which we learned just a little while ago anyway. So come to the other side, come down 9 inches, and come straight across with your ruler. And kind of keep your lines light. And there is one big rectangle that is 9 1/2 inches by 9 inches. Or in the real world, it would be 38 feet by 36 feet. All right. And now that I know it's correct, I'm taking my ruler back. I really wanted to draw light lines. And now I know everything is correct. So I'm going to come back through and make them much darker. A lot easier to see. All right. Next thing, take a look at your drawing of the sizes of the house. And what I want to draw next is the porch. So the front porch, if we look at the drawings, is 20 feet by 8 feet. So right here, we have come in 8 feet and come down 20 feet. So I'm going to come over 8 feet with my ruler. There's 4 feet at the 1 inch. 4 feet, and another 4 feet is 8 feet. I'm going to come down here a little bit and mark it again for 8 feet. I'm going to do my line up and down, but I'm going to keep it very light. Keep this line rather light. All right, and it comes down 20 feet. How many times does 4 go into 20? 5. So it'll be 4, 8, 12. Honey, can you keep it quiet, please? My wife is baking bread. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So mark a 5-inch section and mark a 5-inch section. Come over, and I didn't bring this line down far enough. Let's bring that down a little bit farther. And now that we know it's right, I'm going to make it darker. Make that darker and that darker. All right, next. A line, in my opinion, generally speaking, is more or less in the real world meaningless. A line doesn't have any thickness to it. And when these lines on this drawing represent things in the real world. And so this line here and here and here represent the outside of the house. Your walls have thickness. How thick are your walls? It all depends on the kind of house that you're doing. Lots of complicated stuff in there. But for our work, a 1/4 inch equals a foot, and that's 12 inches. So what we're going to do is bake all our walls. Interior walls, 95% of all walls in the United States, interior walls, are a 3.5 inch piece of wood with a 1/2 inch drywall, 1/2 inch drywall. That makes 4.5 inches, almost all of them. Exterior walls are going to be thicker, but for ease and purpose, we're going to do an 1/8 inch thickness. And for ease and quickness again, I'm just going to have to guesstimate. Have you guys just guesstimate what's going on. So you're going to put your ruler down. It's not a bad idea to mark it. So mark an 1/8 inch here, an 1/8 inch here, and don't go all the way to the end. Come in an 1/8 inch. And next, what I want you to do is carefully make a thick line, second line, all around the perimeter of your house. And what you're doing here is now that line, the first line represented the outside of the house, and this line actually would represent the inside wall of your house. I measured the first one, and now I have a pretty good eye for keeping things parallel and clean and neat. So depending on your eye-hand coordination and all that kind of jazz, you can guesstimate this. All right. And so what we have there now is the basic outline of the house we're going to draw. It has the outside perimeter, it has the front porch, and then has a second thickness wall. So you have an exterior wall and an interior wall going around the entire house. So go ahead and do that first, and then we'll go from there.